Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So this video will be a combined story walkthrough as well as the boss battle for chapter 49. Not much happens here, except that we find out a little bit more about Mika and Kiyosuke, and for some reason they're quite involved in the storyline. So I'm looking forward to future chapters to see what role they eventually do play in the Eastern continent. But for now, don't forget that we were asked by them to help save the cat deity, which we did. Also, we did retrieve the wallet for Kiyosuke as well. And now, we're off on our merry way. Note those two bad guys. You know they're important people when even the bad people seem to kind of gravitate towards them. And Helena ironically asks, what do we do now? Not like there's not much to do. Of course, we're gonna save the day. A damsel in distress. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the update 2.0 so far. I know many of you have probably finished all the content as well. Meanwhile, for myself, I'm kind of taking it a little bit easy. After all, it is Christmas time and holiday season, and there's a lot of things and events to go to. And of course, again, Gamer Dad is a working dad, so there's no way I can kind of play through everything. But I hope you guys are enjoying the content and you know, grinding out the new Another Dungeon as well. Again, leave some comments below if you have gotten anything really cool in terms of the Grasta or any cool drops. Meanwhile, my plan is that I'm going to be slowly finishing off these chapters while doing some of the boss battles as well for those optional weapons. And I do have some videos uploaded of those as well. If you haven't already, remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me that way. So, after heading east from the town and through the, I guess the temple ruins, at the very end here, we're going to meet this naughty pair, which we're going to have to teach a lesson. Also, you can fight the optional boss One Wheel here as well, which is covered in the video I just uploaded before this. And of course, those two bosses happen to be half demons. So you can see one is a cleave demon and one is a slash demon. So let's see what we're up against. Now keep in mind that most storyline bosses aren't exceptionally difficult. Obviously, a team of 5-star would be much preferred here. However, for this particular battle, I do think a mix of 4 and 5 stars would probably be enough to handle it. I will say that this is a long drawn-out battle for myself. There are much better ways to finish off these two bosses. However, again, I didn't look up the strategy before heading right in. I kind of brought a mixed team to see what we're up against. And you know, it's going to be a little bit slower, so I hope you forgive me for that. So we're first up against the Slash Demon, and you can see that it's resistant to fire and weak to water. So thank goodness I do have Leclerc on my team, as well as my standard Suzette, Aldo, and Mario. So you can see the first turn, you're surrounded by that purple aura where you can't actually switch from the back, and so this is my first encounter with this kind of mechanic where you can't swap with party teams in the back. However, again, most of the damage we're up against here is not too significant. You can also see that there is a counter symbol on the boss, so if you attack it, it's going to counter with attack, which you can see. Mind you, it's only 100 or so damage, so really not much to worry about, and it ends off the cycle of attacks with a fire AoE, all of which only still does 100 odd damage. So my recommendation for this particular battle, you do have to fight both demons. So if you bring a mixed team, you'll definitely need a good mix of water attacks. However, as you'll see later on in this boss battle, you'll also need a good mix of fire type heroes as well. So luckily I do have Ewan as well as Aldo on this team. But in the future, I think I would forget bringing Suzette and Annabelle and probably bring one more of each element. I also noticed that being that a lot of the mobs, as well as these two bosses, are weak to fire and water, it sort of kind of plays into the featured banner for Update 2.0. If you think about the water type, you have that overpowered Samurai Shigure. And although Tsubame is an Earth Samurai, the associated banner does have a chance of pulling Suhika, which is, I guess, one of Tsubame's colleagues. I haven't done the quest yet for Tsubame. For those who watched my summon video, you'll know that I have finally hit Tsubame after 50 pulls, which is quite unlucky, unfortunately. But I will be doing those videos for her character quests as well. That being said, you can see that I've brought the Slash Demon to half its life, after which it swaps with this Cleave Demon. And I'm much better equipped to handle this particular boss, being that it has a fire type weakness. Now the problem is that once you bring the boss to half life, that's when it swaps. And so at this point, I'm not sure if I activated a full AF, whether or not it would wipe out the either boss. I suspect that at 50%, it'll probably have a HP stopper and then swap back and forth. So that's why I didn't use my AF bar here. I kind of just left it and just did my regular attacks. And so again, I do apologize that the battle took longer than what I would have expected. That being said, if you haven't already taken on this content, hopefully this video will allow you to bring a much more suitable team that can easily finish off the boss. I do like how these bosses are keeping with the Eastern theme, where you have the decoys kind of turning into scrolls, or I guess wooden blocks, I should say, sorry. So you can see 50% done and swaps back and forth. So I'm going to save my AF bar for the last part of the battle, which will be for the Cleave Demon. I'm going to try to finish off the Slash Demon just with water type attacks, unfortunately just with LeClaire. You'll also note that I'm not going to bother using too much of its aiming flood for LeClaire. And the reason for that is, as you could see earlier, there really isn't much damage to be aware of in terms of protecting yourself. And after all, I do have Annabelle to mitigate power debuff if I so choose. You can see that there is some status effects to worry about. However, not too much to, in terms of really hurting your team. So noted that even Mariel is in the back and not really doing much. And you can see that once the aura fades to swap from the back and forth, you can swap if you'd like right before its weak fire AoE. And I'm doing that just to kind of recover MP. Again, I've noticed these last few fights, I have been running out of MP a little bit more. And I'm not sure if I'm not managing my MP pool well in terms of rotating back and forth, or just like I said, I didn't bring enough water type characters to end it. It does really make it harder when you only have one water element enemy here. Okay, so luckily it's not resistant to non-elemental attacks, so Ewan does have his destruction, which by the way was buffed in update 1.9.2. There were a lot of heroes that were buffed in update 1.9.2, and hopefully you guys do have a good mix of characters that benefited from those upgrades. So for myself, of course, Annabelle got a good buff, Ewan got a buff, and Seti got a buff as well. Okay, so now that I finished off that one, there's only one half bar left, and we can easily end it, seeing that I have multiple fire type attackers. And so, very easy, finish off the boss, just took a while. Again, if you need help on this particular half of the boss, the Cleave Demon, note that even though it has decoys, if you have debuffed the characters, the debuff will stay on the actual character, the actual boss, whereas the decoys, you usually have wiped them out because their HP is much lower. So keep that in mind if you need to concentrate your attacks directly on the main boss. Anyways, pretty easy. Gives you a power of Wind Grasta. Now, I've experimented with Grasta just a little bit, and bear in mind that the Grasta we're getting is of the low quality variety. So if you feel like equipping them, feel free to do so at the Cat Shrine. It's, I believe, 50,000 Git to kind of bond it, and anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 at this level to kind of make things work. You can also remove it as well if you so choose. But the stat increase is mild enough that I don't really see the need to add it to my 5-star team at the moment. I can handle the content so far, although, like I said, this is only chapter 49, and there is a little bit more to come. I will say that whenever they do cut scenes like this, I really do like the cinematography of said cutscenes. Anyways, you can see that the temples are now ruined. We have rescued the 2 children. And again, looking forward to expanding more of their storyline. Note that the 2 demons have now returned to human form, and they escaped along with us because their boss wasn't too happy that they failed in their quest to destroy us. That being said, I'll let you watch the rest of the video in peace. Again, good thing is you do get 100 Chronostones for finishing chapter 49. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.